morning today, everybody. I know you've been waiting for this for a long time. The man that everybody in the world knows, one of the biggest comedians ever, Mr. Eddie Izzard. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm very good. Good morning to you.
It's so nice to talk to you. It seems weird just because of how famous you are and everything that you've done to call you Eddie. It almost just seems like we're old chums, but I feel like you should have a more...
No, that's the best way to do it. I prefer it. Some people, I've got to that place that some people say, sir this, sir that, and I say, no, can you call me Eddie? Because we're all just human beings, and I'd like to keep it on that level. So Eddie is good.
All right, Eddie's good. Well, it works for me, and it's nice to be able to pretend that we're just good old friends from back in the day. Well, Eddie,
absolutely.
You were coming here to Billings, Montana to do a show at the Alberta Bair Theater. Did you ever think in your life that you would be performing in Montana in the United States?
I'm not sure if I planned it this way, but I do think, if I go to the recesses of my mind, that Chaplin, was he in Billings, Montana when he got the message that he got a gig with, out in Los Angeles, the first time he went and did films in Los Angeles? I think he was in Billings, Montana. I might have made that up out of my head, but I just remember the documentary in my head. So it's great to be there. I mean, I write on my Twitter thing. If you look at my Twitter, it says I'm a British European, and I think like an American. So the idea that Montana, that people came across from the east, they were going west, and they would have got to Billings, Montana that way. I could well have been there. I would have been on those boats back in the day. So it's great. Montana is very famous as a place. It's got a wild, rough diamond edge sound to it.
Yes.
But yeah, to get there and play, it's going to be beautiful.
We can't wait to have you too. I was just surprised when I saw that you were coming here. I thought, what a treat for us out here. And this tour, though, you've been doing this show really all over the world, and not just that. I mean, a lot of comedians and a lot of artists will tour the world, but you take it so seriously that you'll even learn different languages sometimes when you tour these shows to make sure you're doing your show in people's native tongue. I mean, you take this very seriously.
Well, it's more like that I can give myself the gift of learning a language. So, like in French, if you're English and you grew up on the south coast of England, then France is just across the water. And we have this sort of distance between each other, the two countries, Britain and France, because of the different language. But I've always liked going there. My dad took me there when I was a kid. My brother learned French. So I decided to learn French, and I'll do the shows in French. And why not? It sounds crazy. No one believed I could do it. But now I'm touring France in the French language, and Germany in the German language, and then I'm going for Spanish, and then Russian, and then Arabic, which is slightly crazy, but I think you've got one life, you may as well live it to the fullest extent, and Billings, Montana will be in English, you'll be pleased to know, so it's much easier.
Oh man, I was really hoping for Arabic here.
Yeah, well, I could try that, but it'd be a limited audience.
Yeah, so that is very true. When you talk about, you've got to live life to the fullest, that was another question I had for a guy like you that's kind of, you could say, done it all, essentially. I mean, you've done so much. You remind me of kind of like an Elton John, where you're a legend in what you do. You've got all the money, the fame, the accolades, the awards. You've got everything you could need, but Elton just played Billings last year or the year before, too, and I wondered the same thing, like, what is it about touring and traveling still that makes you do it? Because obviously it's not the money. It's not the the kudos in the Billings Gazette. I mean, you've already got those from the New York Times and the LA Times and the Guardian. So what is it? Is it the connection with the audiences that keeps you coming back, or what drives you to continue doing what you do?
Well, absolutely. I mean, my stuff is very influenced by Monty Python, Richard Pryor, Steve Martin stand-up. It's quite surreal, intelligent, but very silly. That audience will come to it. The mainstream audience kind of will look at me quizzically and go, I don't know quite what you're talking about. What are you talking about, guy? But I just do my stuff, and that's great. So getting to Montana, getting to Billings, one is the thing that I actually wanted to play every state in America. So I don't think many Americans have actually done that, but that's one of my things, drives on this. But two, going to different places, seeing different people, that is a wonderful thing. It's slightly annoying sometimes when I come in and play a place and I have to move on very quickly. So it's nice to get up and have breakfast in a new city, in a new state. I'm an inquisitive person. I was born in Yemen. I was born in Aden in Yemen. which is, as I'm unfortunate at the moment, in the middle of a civil war. But that's why I'm learning Arabic as one of the languages. I just am curious about human beings. And some of us are quite sort of compact, and I just want to know the people next door and whatever. But I'm an inquiring person. I'm interested in other people. So that's why I'm learning Arabic, that's why I'm learning Russian, and that's why I'm coming to Billings, Montana.
That's such a great... I just heard an interview on Jimmy Fallon with a guy, a TV producer over here, Brian Grazer, who wrote a book about curiosity, but he kind of says the same thing, is that's what drives him to make TV shows and to live his life, is he's always curious. And he said that's the thing you need to do. If you're feeling bored in life, just find out what you're curious about and what you want to learn more about and take action on it.
It's a wonderful thing if you can actually get to do a job that you're fascinated with, because then the financial thing isn't the big deal of it. It's doing something you're passionate about. So comedy, drama, these two things I wanted to do, and now I'm doing both of them, which is crazy. Normally you should do one or the other, but I've been slightly ambitious, maybe even a bit greedy to do both. But yeah, it's great. Yes, be excited with life. Otherwise, what's the point? We know we get one life. Some people say there's 2 lives or 9 lives. I don't know. Cats, quite often I talk to cats. And they say, but we just know there's one life. We're sure of that. No one's ever come back with a definitive message saying, by the way, guys, 2. We just haven't heard that. So may as well live it to the fullest.
Exactly. Yeah, the one guaranteed life we have. Let's guarantee that it's awesome. I agree with that, Eddie. Yeah. We do have a question here. Oddly enough, I don't know how this has happened, but we have a friend who we have an app on the phone for our morning show here, and we have a guy in Bristol, England that's been listening every morning for a few years now, and so he sent us a question, and he said, outside of your comedy, you famously competed in 43 marathons in 51 days for the Sports Relief Charity in the UK. Despite having no prior history of long-distance running, he wants to know how difficult was that, and did you ever think at any stage that you weren't going to be able to complete that?
It's a very good question. I never thought I wasn't going to be able to compete it, because I think that as soon as you think that, as soon as you consider that thought, you will not compete it. I didn't know it would be 43 marathons when I started. They weren't organized marathons. We just measured the direction going from the capital of England, which is London, capital of Wales, which is Cardiff, up to the capital of Northern Ireland, Belfast, and then over to Edinburgh, capital of Scotland, and back down. So we just didn't know how many it would take to do it. But bizarrely, if you ever do multiple marathons, it gets easier after 10 marathons, which seems a bit silly as a line, but it's actually true. So I did one a day, except I took 1 day off a week. So that it was 6 out of every 7 days that I would be running.
Wow.
And after 10 marathons, your brain goes, oh, okay, so you're going to do this marathon thing. Okay, well, I know what's happening tomorrow. I'll be doing another marathon. So that was the thing. It was willpower. It's not the body, because you think you have to get fit as a fiddle. It's in fact, you have to get your mind fit as a fiddle. You have to get your mind saying, yes, this thing is going to happen. And that's how you do it.
That's amazing. As somebody I'm just kind of a fat, chubby radio guy here, so I can't imagine doing one marathon, but maybe I'll just do that. Just tell my body, I don't care that you think you can't do this. Just do it, damn it. Yes,
that would be it. I'd start with a half marathon. Try it on a half marathon, or even 10K. If you got to book it in, do it, and it will be your brain that will decide to get you through. That is how it works. Sometimes you need to check with a doctor, though, because some people do keel over. I didn't, so my heart seems to be okay. But unfortunately, some people do go, and you can't really tell until they go on a big, long race like that. But it is the mind of the matter. And there was a joke that they had, which was the ultramarathon runners told me. They said it's 90% mental, and the other 10% is in your head. So it's 100% mental is essentially the big
It's all up there. Well, good. Yeah, I'll go to the doctor first so I don't tell everybody that Eddie Izzard killed me by making me run a marathon.
I know, that would be annoying.
I won't do that. What else? You talked about getting to do comedy, getting to do drama, kind of getting to live all those life dreams. What else are you working on right now? What, aside from this big tour coming over here to the U.S., what else is happening and in the pipeline for Eddie Izzard?
Well, I've just done a Jenji Cohen pilot. She does Orange is the New Black, and her new series is called The Devil You Know. Gus Van Sant directed it. It's an HBO pilot, and it's about 1692 and leading up to the witch trials in Salem. So it's all about those real people. So So that is in a pipeline. The HBO have to decide if they want to go for a series, but if they do, that would be very exciting.
I'm a huge Genji Cohen fan. Both Weeds and Orange is the New Black. I've loved them both. I mean, so that sounds like that's very exciting news for me.
That is very exciting. It's very dark, and it's out there. You can go online and talk about it. But they're editing at the moment. I think HBO have to decide it in July. And then I've got 5 years before I go for Mayor of London or Member of Parliament. So that's I'm doing an Al Franken in 5 years' time.
Very nice. What a fun life. You're just so fun to follow and see all the exciting things you've got going on. And I don't know if a lot of people here in America know about this and stuff, but you've spoken since 1992 about your sexuality, about your gender identity. Were you able to watch or read any transcripts or anything from the Bruce Jenner interview on Friday night, or is that not really international news?
No, I haven't seen it, but I was campaigning because we've got a general election back in Britain, so I've been in 56 constituencies. I know Bruce Jenner's been going through a very tough time. What was the outcome of this? Have you read it?
I watched it. Yeah, and it had almost 17 million viewers. It was a huge success ratings-wise. But he said he's a woman. He did say, "I am a woman." He does not want to be referred to as her yet because he has the female side of him that he refers to as her. But he said, I'm not ready to show her to you yet. All the kids have met her, so he refers to his female self as her. And this is his last interview as Bruce. And he said, but the only confusing part to people was he tried to say, so I'm a woman, I've always been a woman, I've been living a lie as a man, but I'm in love with women. And they said, so you're gay? And he said, no, I'm heterosexual. And then he tried to explain the differences between gender identity and sexual orientation. But a lot of people were confused as to the fact that he's a woman that likes women, but he's not gay. And so it's obviously, and like he said too, he said it's a long journey, and he's even just learning some stuff himself.
Well, I came out 30 years ago. I'm a male lesbian, basically. But it gets. Yeah, everyone has their own definition of how they are. And gay and lesbian people are more out and have got to a much more experienced level of articulation on their own sexuality. Transgender is still just coming out of the forest of the nightmare times, which have been going on for thousands of years. And so we'll all articulate how we are a little bit differently. I'm very chilled out about my own sexuality, and everyone else in Britain seems to be fairly chilled about it.
Yeah.
I mentioned it. I came out 30 years ago. I came out to the public because I didn't have a career 30 years ago. So 24 years ago.
Yeah, so it's
enough time to acclimatize now.
Exactly. Yeah, you've gotten used to it. What's the difference? Just quickly, I would consider myself almost kind of like a male lesbian. I have a lot of shoes. I love musicals. I date women, though. What would be the difference between you and I? Or am I maybe a male lesbian as well?
I don't know. That gets all kind of complicated. Well, there's metrosexual men as well, so that you could just be a metrosexual man. But it depends. If you want to express the feminine side of yourself.
No, I don't have a good. I don't have a good enough body
for that.
You're not doing that. Yeah, no, I don't have a good enough body. I think
it's all self-definition. You just got to work out your own definitions yourself and be happy with those, because it gets complicated. I think there's about 12 groupings of transgender. Yeah, just as long as you're relaxed in your own skin, then people seem to relax themselves.
Yeah.
You control other people's discomfort, because if they're feeling uncomfortable, if you're feeling uncomfortable, they're uncomfortable. But I just don't give a monkey. I really just don't.
Yeah, exactly. Especially after that many years.
Everyone just calms down.
You're happy, and it's the bottom line. I think that's what the most people are saying about the Bruce Jenner interview is, he seems like he's kind of lived an unhappy life of trying to hide who he really was, and now he's getting to be free, essentially, and hopefully he's happy. So I think, unless you're just a really hateful person, I don't understand why you wouldn't be down with that. I mean, the guy's happy now, finally.
Exactly. There's loads of people who've lived a lie for their entire life since. Go back to Stonehenge and the early Egyptians. So you got 5,000 years of people having a tough time. So now people are just being honest about it. And the Bruce Jenner's having a tough time because the press is going crazy and they're following him and paparazzi and all that. I don't have that, so I'm lucky.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do it on more of your own terms over there. Is there anywhere, Eddie? I mean, now you're doing this world tour here, over the United States. Are there any places yet that you have not performed or not been scheduled in that you'd like to play yet to check off the list? Or are you pretty much done with that?
No, absolutely. There's a lot more places. I wanted to go to Nepal, Kathmandu, and they've just had a terrible earthquake. So I was going this year, but that's put that into a more difficult place because they've just got to try and get everyone back on their feet and deal with people who are hurting or dying right at this very moment. So that's a very tough thing. So but Kathmandu, I met a guy from Kathmandu on the streets of New York, and he spoke good English. And I said, "Can I do a gig in English in Kathmandu?" He said, "Yeah, go for it." And I said I would. So I was planning to go this year. Now I'm going to have to put that to one side. Maybe this year, later in the year, maybe I can go and do a better. I'm not sure how to do it now. Well, Kathmandu, I've got to get there.
There you go. I would love to get there as well, too. Sad story of what's happening over there right now, but hopefully it'll all get fixed here soon, and hopefully, a lot of people are all right, and they can clean up quickly and get everything back on track. And I will definitely tell our friend Alan over in Bristol, who's listening, to make sure to vote for you. And I don't know how elections work, but I want to make sure you get elected and we get you into office over there. And also, anybody else, I know there are only a few tickets left, but anybody that doesn't have tickets, there are a few left for Eddie Izzard coming to the Alberta Bair Theater Friday, May 22nd. Just go to albertabairtheater.org or stop by the box office to buy those tickets. Eddie, it's such a pleasure and treat that you're coming to visit us here in Billings, and also so amazing that you took the time to talk to us this morning. So thanks so much for being so personable, being so honest, and just being such a great human being, Eddie. I really appreciate it, and thanks again for doing it.
No problem. Very good to talk to you.
All right,
and
you too,
I'm
Eddie.
Looking forward to coming to Billings, Montana. It will be fun.
Right on. Have a great day, Eddie. Again, thanks for your time.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.